Do you know someone like this? Always the first to help. Always the first to give in. Always the first to walk away with less. Someone who smiles through every favor they never wanted to do. Who puts everyone else's work before their own. Who ends up alone at the end of the day, exhausted and full of regret. What if that person is you? Today we're going to talk about the line between being kind and being taken advantage of. Once upon a time, in a snow-covered village in the woods, there lived two woodcutters. The first woodcutter's name was Giver. Every morning he woke before anyone else and chopped wood. And when a neighbor was struggling, he shared what he had, willingly, wholeheartedly. But Giver had one rule. He only shared when his own storehouse was at least half full. And when someone asked for too much, he would say, quietly, but firmly, "I'm sorry. I can't give today." The second woodcutter's name was Pushover. He also shared his wood, willingly, always. But he never learned to say no. When neighbors asked, he gave even when he had nothing left. When the same person came back a second time, a third time, he always found a way to say yes. Every request made him uncomfortable inside, but the word that came out was always the same. Sure. One night, Pushover stood in front of his empty storehouse and thought, "Why is life so hard when I try so hard to be good?" Then winter came. Giver's home was warm. Pushover's woodpile was bare. He had spent the whole winter keeping everyone else warm, and his own home had frozen from the inside out. When spring arrived, the villagers said, "Pushover was such a good person." But those words didn't fill his empty storehouse. This isn't just a fairy tale. Organizational psychologist Adam Grant spent decades studying thousands of people in the workplace. He divided people into three types. Takers, those who always receive. It's those who give only as much as they get. And givers, those who give first. The results were striking. The most successful people were givers, but so were the most burned out, most exhausted failures. So what made the difference? Successful givers ask themselves three questions before giving. First, do I have enough to give right now? Second, does this person genuinely need help? Third, will I be okay after I give this? Failed givers, pushovers, never asked those questions. They gave simply because someone asked, because they believed that was what it meant to be good. Adam Grant put it this way: the most generous people are not the ones who give the most. They're the ones who give sustainably. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's what makes it possible to keep giving at all. History is full of both types. Abraham Lincoln was someone who put others first his entire life. He fought against slavery, gave chances to his political rivals, and appointed the very people who had criticized him most harshly to positions in his own cabinet. Historians call this his team of rivals. But Lincoln didn't give endlessly. He knew exactly what to offer and what to protect. On the question of abolishing slavery, he never budged. He was a giver, but he never broke. Then there's a different kind of story. In Guy de Maupassant's short story, The Necklace, a woman named Mathilde borrows a necklace from a friend and loses it at a party. But she can't bring herself to say the words, "I lost it." Instead, she secretly goes into enormous debt to buy a replacement and return it without saying a word. She spends 10 years grinding through poverty to pay it off, and then she finds out the original necklace was a cheap imitation, worth almost nothing. 10 years of her life for one sentence she couldn't say. That is the heart of being a pushover. No boundaries, no honesty, no voice, just absorbing everything alone. So right now, which one are you? There's one simple question that separates a giver from a pushover. Am I giving this because I choose to, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I say no? Giving from choice, that's a giver. Giving from fear, that's a pushover. The difference comes down to one thing. Can you say no? That one boundary can change your life. Maybe you've been living as a pushover for a long time, because you wanted people to think you were kind, because you were scared they'd be upset if you said no, because giving just felt easier than the alternative. And then one day, for no clear reason, You find yourself in tears. Why am I always so tired? Why do I always end up with less? What am I doing wrong? Here's what I want you to hear. The reason you've been running yourself down isn't because you're a bad person. It's because you have an enormous amount of warmth inside you. Nobody just never taught you that warmth is supposed to flow toward yourself, too. Givers aren't born. They're built. Through learning to draw boundaries. Through learning to check in with themselves first. Through practicing, one moment at a time. The small courage it takes to say, I can't do that today. Starting today, try just one thing. When someone asks something of you, don't answer right away. Pause for 3 seconds and ask yourself, quietly, do I actually want to do this? Those 3 seconds are where the change begins. From pushover to giver, one breath at a time. You are already kind enough. Now it's time to be wise. If this video stayed with you even a little, please hit subscribe. I'll be back every week with stories like this one. And leave one comment. Just one. I'm a giver. Or, I've been a pushover. I want to hear your story. I read every single one. And if you hit like, think of it as sending this story to someone who's been freezing in their own empty storehouse. Your one like might be the warmth they need today. Thank you so much for watching.